Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. So I've got a pretty colourful look for you today, an eye look. It's not too strong and too overbearing if you pare it down with a lighter lip and then just don't have too much blush or face makeup on. So I've used a fair few colours in this palette. So this is the Norvina Volume 3, which is, gosh, it's absolutely beautiful. So if you like your greens and oranges, there's a few shimmers in there. It's just beautiful. A couple of purples and a red as well, which is pretty much a true red actually. I've used it on my eyes today in the corners and it has stayed pretty red. So I'll show you how I did this eye look. Let's start. Alright, so I have already primed my eyes with my P.Louise and tapped that off just to get a little bit of setting happening. So I haven't actually set it as such with the powder. So I'm going in first up with this bright yellow on the bottom here. It's called E4. Absolutely stunning colour. It looks really bright and beautiful. So I'm going to go in with that NARS 42. And I'm just going to go all into the transition area. So way above, definitely above my natural crease here, but above a crease you would put in if you have hooded eyes, which I do. Now I'm not going to do my eyeshadow today as if I've got hooded eyes, because not everybody who watches my videos has hooded eyes. So I'm going to use the traditional shape of going into the socket area with my colour. So this is very bright, pigmented, beautiful colour. So right up underneath my brow here. Just using it as a base to blend with basically. Alright, now if you heard a bit of whizzing in the background just then, it was my air conditioning and I forgot to turn off, so it's off now, so hopefully you can hear me a little bit better. So there's a couple of bright oranges in here, A2 and A5. So I think, I'm not quite sure which one to use. I might use this one where my finger is, the A5, which is really very bright, on a Morphe 506. And I am going to go just into the socket area of my eye, so I'm pushing in and creating that crease. Now ordinarily with my hooded eyes I go up higher and I do go out further. And I'm just going to do the socket work today, so more of a traditional eyeshadow shape for people who don't have hooded eyes. So just going in and just stamping that colour in. I'm just going to wipe that brush off on a towel on my desk here, and then I'm just going to go in and do some circular motions, just holding your brush right sort of towards the end so you've got a really light hand, and just doing circular motions right on the edge of that colour that we just put in. So you can see there with that blended it creates a nice tangerine pinky sort of colour. So I'm going to go back in with that A5 orange colour and I just want to intensify right in that socket area. So not right up where that blend is up here, but just right in that socket. I'm going to use that same brush and I'm going to go into the red, which is C2, which is right there in the middle. I'm just going to try that. I'm just going to pop some of that on the inner and outer corners. Just brighten that up just a little bit more. So I'm going up into that crease area here, but just slightly. And I'm just going to grab that NARS 42 and just go over the edge where that red is, that blends into the orange. And on the outer corner here. Just want to go back into that yellow, so I'm going back on the NARS 42 and right on the edge of that blend I'm just going to intensify that yellow just a little bit more. And then for the lid, I think I'm going to go in with this apricot colour here, D5. Looks quite pretty. So I'm going to, the whole palette looks beautiful. Use it on a Makeup Forever 240 brush. And just pop a little bit of that in the middle of the lid. I'm going to grab that red again on that 506. Just a touch of that just to intensify that again. Just go over the top of that shimmer to blend. Just going to dip into that red with a liner brush. This one's from Zoeva. And I just want to go right on that line where we put the red in. And just above the shimmer. Just gives it a little bit more shape. Okay, so I just went ahead and put my lashes on. So I'm using the House of Lashes Iconic Lite, and I just used Huda Beauty. It's called Sticky Tack Lash Glue. This is the best lash glue in the entire world. I do have trouble getting my eyelashes on, particularly in the inner corner, and this allows you to actually take them off, put them back on. I saw her actually demonstrate, and she did it 3 or 4 times, taking the lashes off and putting them back on. It does stay like sticky. I promise you, if you have trouble with your lashes, go and get a tube of this. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it. So I'm just going to go and Tightline with my Marc Jacobs Blacquer. Now, I did experiment recently with a couple of different liners for tightlining. So if you want to tightline with black and then you want to put a different colour in the waterline, most of them actually transfer. So the Lifeliner from Huda Beauty that I bought transfers. It's absolutely, it goes on so brilliantly. So if you're going to use it in the waterline, it's great. And then I tried my Chanel waterproof, and that transferred as well. And then I recently bought the Kat Von D Cake pencil, which transfers as well. So I've gone back to Marc Jacobs Blacquer, which does not transfer at all. And then I'm going to go with my Linda Hallberg Mood Crayon in Likeable for my waterline today. So it's orange. I'm just going to go into that orange colour on a smudge brush and just set that waterline. I'm going to use that same smudge brush, wipe it off on a towel, and I'm going to go into that red. Just pop that under the lash line on the outer third. Really colourful look today. And then I'm going to see what this green's like. A4 lime green at the top there. And I'm just going to put that on a flat definer just to go on the inner half of my eyelash here. And I'm going to use a 2-2-1 and make sure I use 2 sides. So I want to use one side for the red, so I'm not putting any colour on there, I'm just blending that. I'm just going to switch sides and just blend the green. I'm just going to grab that shimmer. It looks like a gold C1 in the pan. I'm going to try that in the inner corner on a Sigma pencil brush. Just a dash of gold. I like that. A little bit more colour. I'm going in on the bottom lash line with a ColourPop BFF yellow mascara. You have to be very careful with these. The wand is so big, and if you don't have many lashes, it is actually hard to get on. It does create a bit of a statement if you're looking for a colourful look. Alright, so what do you think? It's very, very colourful. It's very wearable still. If you wear a very, very light coloured lip and you don't have a full-on, you know, blush. I've got a really light blush on. It's a MAC Warm Soul today, and a little bit of bronzer, a tiny little bit of highlight. You can get away with such a bright look, especially for a party, Christmas, something like that. So if you like my look, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe and share with your friends. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.